Vacanza in Italia.
Oh, see. The news from Milano-Cortina this week is really an interview with Will Whiston from On Location. If you remember, we talked with Will ahead of Paris 2024. If you did any of the On Location packages, you will know what we're talking about. They are the official hospitality provider for the Olympics. Will is the executive vice president of On Location, and he checked in with us to let us know what On Location has planned for Milano-Cortina 2026. Take a listen. Will Whiston from On Location, welcome back to the show.
Hi, ladies. Thank you for having me back. I think I told you before, but the last time we did this before Paris was a blast. So I was waiting for the invite.
Speaking of Paris, how did it go from your perspective? What did your guests say? What kind of things did you learn for future games?
Paris was an incredible moment for our organization, but importantly for our guests, which is what drives our whole team and why we do it. But Paris, in terms of the reviews, in terms of the quality of execution and service, how we made it a seamless execution for what was, as we all know, an incredible Olympics. We were really proud and thrilled to really bring it to life and make it that much better an experience. In terms of those reviews, if we consolidate all the feedback, one is we help make sense of the Olympic ecosystem in Paris. We help make sense of how you go, made it not daunting for the guest even try to figure out how to go, how to build an experience that allowed someone to make sense of, as you ladies know, like there's so many sporting events going on at the exact same time. How do you know? How do you not have FOMO saying, how am I missing out on this or missing out on that? How do you pick the right things to go to? Our guests said that was just an amazing addition to the Olympic experience, being able to make it seamless and not stressful. And the service levels in terms of the culinary experience and bringing out the best of Paris within the sports venue and outside of it was the other main highlight that guests raved about. And a lot of them said, we want to go to the future games with you. So we're excited to do that for them.
I will say that I did notice when I was waiting for different athletic sessions to start, I saw some of the track tours where people got to go down on the track and everyone looked so excited. Did you see that, Allison?
I did.
Those are my favorite moments. I mean, Olympics or otherwise, because I've been in this company for longer than I'd like to admit, and maybe my age wouldn't indicate it. But being at Super Bowls and other events, the best moments are those surprise and delight, those special moments that are priceless. Literally, you can't put a price on it, and there isn't a price. But seeing guests holding the baton, standing on the track, on that purple track, was just like, that's why we do it.
And speaking of future games, what do you have for Milano Cortina?
Well, Milano-Cortina, we're just as excited for it, if not more, because now we've done a summer games. This is like doing a new event for us. The Winter Olympics are a different animal, a different level of excitement, and affords different opportunities. It's kind of like a new palette to work off of, especially in Milan. Paris, we had an incredible cultural underpinning that we could pull out. As we all know, Italy has the exact same cultural underpinning, especially in the north. So the variety of locations up in the Dolomites, in Cortina and Livigno, and then what Milan affords is allowed us to get really creative in those experiences. Also, and that's from a cultural point of view, but also what some people don't realize is for a winter games, there's a lot more temporary venues, whether it's skiing or snowboarding or otherwise, and outdoor venues where there's build out, which affords us the opportunity to do things like what we did in Paris for beach volleyball, building a champagne bar on top of the venue and an overhang between the Eiffel Tower and the competition, which all of our guests said was something they'd never even dreamed of before. These temporary builds for these venues allows us to get creative like that and build those new experiences. So that's what I'm really excited for as well.
One of the big challenges for Milan is those many, many venues that are very far apart. So how are you handling that in terms of putting different sites together in the packages?
Yeah, what I've told my team and our mantra for a while is the best experience is the simplest logistical experience for our guests. Our guests range from couples who want to go because they're Olympic fans to families, frankly, and we've sold in over 70 countries at this point, so we have guests from everywhere. But when you look at the U.S. fan base, this is also a school holiday, so there's a lot of families coming with us and making the most of it. And there's of course the corporate element of it, but a lot of this is a vacation, combining a vacation with an Olympic experience. So how we've created a more holistic experience is by creating waves. So 2 days in Milano for competition, maybe see preliminary stages of figure skating and short track, and then 2 days in Livigno, and then 2 days in Cortina, and then back to Milan. So someone can see all of Northern Italy and see this variety of sports. That's how we've made the most sense of it in terms of a guest experience. Underpinning that, we have hundreds of team members, hundreds of vehicles that are going to be well coordinated through our operations center, making sure that our guests have seamless stops in each part of Northern Italy. I will say, between Cortina and Livigno, what's amazing is, and this is where I think our guests are going to just be in awe, is one, the surroundings and the Dolomites. I mean, you're up in some of the most beautiful mountain ranges in the world. It's not like there's Marriott's and Park Hyatts on the main street. These are all chalets, and we've sourced thousands of nights worth of rooms at chalets and smaller bed and breakfasts. So it's going to be a very authentic experience, and I'm personally excited to see our guests be amazed by this almost quaint and authentic experience, and then walking through the village over to the finish line of downhill skiing.
You talked about some temporary venues and having different unique kind of build outs. Can you share some of those with us? What kind of environments are you planning?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously we have the weather element, more so in the winter games, so everything needs cover. But it's allowed us, I'll give you two examples. So for downhill skiing, men's and women's, we're able to create hospitality experiences that are indoor, of course, warm, comfort, food, hot chocolate if you like, near the finish line, but also with the access and a guided walk up the slope so you can see multiple parts of the race. We also have snowcats that can bring guests up the slope to the sides. So again, I mean, if you're there for a session of downhill, you can see some athletes at the finish line, which is where a lot of spectators are, as you know. But then you can also change your vantage point and see it at the last turn or the middle of the downhill, which you get to see the speed and just raw intensity of that. The other one I will mention, which is I might be most excited for, is in half pipe for snowboarding, where we've been able to be, again, afforded by the fact that these venues are things developed for these purposes, and we can make them somewhat bespoke. Some of our top guests will be able to go to actually be along the starting gate. So people will be able to see the athletes getting prepared with their coaches, warming up. Also, that moment where they're standing there on their board, just waiting, trying to be calm, and then see them go down the half pipe from the top, not the bottom, from the top, with the backdrop of the village. That's one that I might have to go join a couple times.
Because that half pipe is huge. It is so impressive how big it is. You don't realize how big it is on TV.
You don't appreciate that, and then you realize how big it is in person. You realize the speed they're gathering to get that sort of height. It's insane.
Okay, Will, I had this idea. I'll lay it on you. For
All right.
2030, can they build a half pipe that has a viewing room on the inside? So you see people. Wouldn't that be cool, Allison? You see
That is
people from inside the
good,
half pipe.
but ha
Inside the half pipe.
but it has to be covered in snow.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's no. Well, I mean, like there's got to be technology to have clear ice.
Yeah, I mean, now that you mention it, first off, we might have to do a brainstorming session with our whole team because I love this idea. Second off, I mean, we've got to bring you into these design meetings because it's great. I mean, for LA 28, that's something we are exploring as well. I think people know now. We've known and been preparing for a while that swimming will be in SoFi Stadium.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, can you watch sink or watch artistic swimming from underneath?
And so, with the pool, I mean, obviously the pool is going to be, the deck is going to be at the first and flush with
Yeah,
the first,
yeah.
lowest row, the first row, excuse me. So there are ground level suites beneath that. So that would have field
Oh.
view. So I'd be lying to you if I said we have not been asking, hey, can we get some sort of clear view to look? Now, who knows? But those are the kind of things that get afforded by these incredible venues.
Well, we do have a friend at Mirtha Pools who will likely be
Right.
providing the pools for that event, so we'll see what we can do to hook
Yeah,
you up,
right.
Will.
The big thing is we do not want, and this is a principle that we really abide by because we throw out some crazy ideas to our friends in each of the organizing committees and with the IOC. But we do really respect what is the first principle, which is we cannot interrupt or distract the field of play. So that's why you mentioned before in Paris, we had guests down on the track between sessions. Basketball, we've endeavored to do something similar in and around sessions. But we really have to focus in spots where we know it doesn't interrupt warm up, competition, or immediately post session.
We hear you. Okay, we have not talked about food. This
Yes.
is an important part of Italy, I would think.
Oh,
So
it's
how is Italian cuisine getting incorporated into these packages?
Italian cuisine is I wouldn't say the sport event itself always is the base. That's why people are coming. But the Italian culture and the service, meaning just the friendliness of Italy, is a close second, if not a tie. And that's where, by the way, there's different cuisine in different parts of Italy, and these games are spread out enough to where Milanese food is slightly different from what Cortina does near the Austrian border or Livigno near the Swiss border. So we're working with local caterers through and restaurants through each of those regions to bring authentic cuisine from each of those locations for those sporting events. The pasta in each and every one of those is incredible. I may have taste tested myself.
I was going to ask, how hard was that trip?
That was it didn't feel like work, let's put it that way. But it's we've really put that at the base, and we have a team of hundreds in Milan from native to Italy, also with Olympic experience. And that's something that the whole organization, as well as the organizing committee of the games, take a lot of pride in. So the food and beverage and the culinary experience is going to be off the charts. And champagne was big in Paris, and now it's prosecco.
Can't go wrong.
I know if there's prosecco involved, I am there. I did see at the beach volleyball the people on the patio with the champagne, and I remember thinking, "Wait, how did they get there?" So I'm and of course it was on location. It was a beautiful spot. So that is something to look forward to for Milan as well. Some really special
Yeah, well, we're on
viewing
audio
spots.
only here, I think. But if we got to get you guys a picture, you've seen it, but give people a sense of what we're talking about. It was right under the Eiffel Tower, and that was some of the highest reviewed experiences that we developed. But this all goes back to what our goal is and what our mission is and why we're doing what we're doing in the Olympics is to simplify the experience, enhance the experience, make you feel part of the competition and at the center of the world, which is what the Olympics are, the center of the world at that for those 2 weeks, and to make sure that people are carefree and enjoying as authentically as possible and as close to the action as possible. Our company's logo is closer than ever. We're bringing people as close to it in a way that they can have unforgettable moments. And that's what our hundreds of thousands of guests in Paris all came back saying.
Are you doing the club thing again?
Yes, Clubhouse. So now
Clubhouse will be.
we're carrying forward. And so for those listeners maybe not as familiar, we created a new concept which was Clubhouse 24 in Paris, right in the center of the competitions. A large fan hospitality with a huge screen with Parisian lawn chairs, food and beverage experience, and also the Olympic Museum transported there, literally transplanted in the middle of Paris so people could see the history and feel the history of the Olympics. That was a rave review. It was opened by President Bach. He inaugurated that space. I believe the new president will also be doing the same in Milan with Clubhouse 26, which we are deploying to three of the main clusters between Milan, Cortina, and Livigno. We're carrying forward the exact same spirit of the location, which is extending the Olympic experience outside of the venue. So when someone's session's over at name a sport, whether it's ice hockey or otherwise, the day's not done. Their incredible Olympic dream of a day is not done. And we're also at the Olympic Museum in partnership with them. We're bringing the same type of artifacts to the spaces to make this unforgettable as well.
Did the IOC ask you for anything in particular for next year? With any of the packages, did they say, "We really wanna see you do X?"
Well, the IOC has been incredible partners, and that's why, for everyone's benefit, we do this in partnership. We create these experiences and these programs in partnership with the International Olympic Committee. They've been incredible partners in that they really believe in and have seen the power of making the Olympics more accessible and more seamless to access, I should say. Also, the fact that we're able to help make it a much more official and secure experience because we're displacing and creating a better experience than maybe third parties like ticket brokers who are selling tickets and some additional elements. And I'll take this moment to just remind everyone to beware of those secondary market actors and that we are the only secure place to get any sort of hospitality or travel packages. But back to your question, the IOC, they've really leaned in on one, pushing for these special venue accesses we've spoken about, being able to bring that out more, whether it's field of play access in and around an event or venue adaptations to make it the best experience possible. They're hyper focused on bringing out local culture because while the Olympics is the Olympics, they're believers in why it rotates. They've also, I mean, Clubhouse 26 is just an idea that we blossomed together, and now they really want to take it to the next level. So we've seen them be fantastic partners on all fronts and give us the access, importantly, that makes it a totally differentiated experience from just a ticket.
Well, if you ever get inspired to make a little experience for 2
Two
American
podcasters.
podcast ladies who would love a driver and some prosecco. Just throwing it out there, Will.
Rachel and I will talk.
Oh man, what's been selling well? What have people? Which things are you got to jump on before you miss out?
First off, in terms of what we've seen in demand and interest, it's been across the globe. I mean, our top selling countries include obviously US and Canada, all Scandinavia, the UK, which we saw in Paris and it's carrying through in Milan, all the way to Australia and New Zealand, where I mean they have specialists in some of the in whether it's freestyle skiing or aerials. So we've seen incredible interest across the world. By the way, we launched the first ever deposit campaign right after Paris for those interested in Milan and who wanted to be first in line. We had thousands upon thousands of people sign up for that, which there's never been a program like that before for an Olympics. And to see that for Winter Games right after Summer Games was just spectacular and shows the interest. In terms of the sports, you know, we have seen, it's the typical big Winter Olympic sports. Obviously, always stand out in volume, whether it's ice hockey, figure skating, of course. We're figure skating for a number of sessions. There's very limited availability now. And we're just entering the most in demand period in Europe, in our opinion, starting in September. And of course, the medal sessions in skiing. But I will say, what's been incredible is biathlon in that region is something that's received a lot of interest. The opening ceremony at San Siro, as always, the opening ceremony is something that locally is people take a lot of pride in. We have very limited availability in opening ceremony, which I think is going to be unbelievable with the cultural aspect and the focus on this ceremony that the organizing committee is bringing. So we're seeing demand across the board. Oh, and I forgot snowboarding, which I mentioned before, the half pipe. That event is through the roof in terms of interest. And all these sports that I mentioned, or most of them at least, the dry ticket sales are almost sold out for the prime sessions, and we have seen obviously the similar demand. So now's the time to jump on it.
Well, we know where the party's at in every sport now. It's where the on location
Just find that
section
sign.
is.
Just find the
Find
guy
that
with that
sign. I'll have to
sign.
get you. Find Jill and Allison.
Well, we get lost all the time. So
I know when you were
find us.
I know when Will was saying, he's like, "Oh, we make sure everything is seamless." I'm like, "Oh, we could have used that."
Could use that all the time. Oh, well, Will, thank you so much for joining us again. We're really excited to see what you do for Milano-Cortina and hear all about it. And I'm looking forward to seeing the participants get to do their thing on in the field of play or on the sidelines.
Yeah, most of it's going to be an amazing Winter Olympics. As I said, it's the first time back in Europe in a long time, and Italy's always been special. Torino was special as a Winter Olympics, and Milano-Cortina is going to be that and more. So, to both of you, my friends, thank you for having me back, and I look forward to being on again in the future. Hopefully, might need to get you an invite to Milano-Cortina to get that invite back, but we'll see.
All right.
We'll see, Will.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Will. We'll have a link to On Location's offerings in the show notes. I'm still hoping about that in the half pipe. View the half pipe from in the half pipe situation.
I just wanna walk the half pipe. Like, I really wanna do that package. To take my glass of prosecco and walk up and down the half pipe? Come on. Come on. That sounds glorious.
It would be, I mean, the experiences they do put together sound amazing.
My birthday's next month.
Oh, there you go. There you go.